What is happening? So today we're going to be dividing using area models. What? What is that? Well, area models, just think about multiplication. We had area, an area of space. We're going to do the same thing with dividing, but it's going to be a little different. So let us go ahead and show you what it will look like. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is write my divisor on top. Now let's go ahead and label our dividend. We have our big D for dividend, big D dividend, and little d for divisor. And then we're going to be looking for our quotient. Now our dividend, this number here, we're going to put over to the side, 665. Okay, now this seems like a big number. So when you're using area model to solve this, we're going to try to encompass this into this area. So divide all of this up, all of the dividend, into this area, and we're going to divide it by our divisor right here. So the first thing I want to do when I'm doing this is I'm going to write all my multiples of 5. So I went ahead and put them to the side here. And so now I'm going to try to take care of this. And so when I think of this, I'm going to think of 1,000, 100, or 10. Now that sounds weird, but we're going to try to multiply by 1,000, 100, or 10. So what is 5 times 1,000? 5,000, right? And 5,000, is 5,000 larger than 665? Yeah, it is. So that's not going to work. So we don't want to use 5,000. Let's do 5 times 100. What is 5 times 100? From multiplying, we know that 5 times 100 is going to be 500. Is 500 less than 665? Yes. So we are going to try to start by taking out chunks. So the first thing I'm going to do is right here to the side, I'm going to put 100. That is what I'm going to multiply by. And this is going to be a big chunk of this, so it's going to take up most of the space, so I'm going to put a big spot, a big line down way here, because that is most of the area. Now when we talked about, remember when we talked about finding the area of a rectangle or a square, we talked about multiplying the length times the width. That's what you're going to do here. So 5 times 100 is what? Right, 500. So I'm going to put 500 right here, because 5 times 100 is going to be 500. So now what I need to do is subtract 500 from 665. And then 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 0 is 6. And 6 minus 5 is 1. So we have 165. 165 is what is remaining from our dividend. And so we've counted for 500 here. So now we need to account for 165. So next thing we need to look at is 100 again. Can we do 5 times 100 again? 5 times 100 is 500. Is 500 larger than 165? Yes. So can we do that again? No. So what about 10? 5 times 10 is what? 50. Right. Is 50 less than this? Yes. So let's put 10 right here. And so now we're going to multiply 5 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50. And it's going to take up a little space. So I'm going to put a line. It doesn't take up as much space. 50 is much smaller than 500, so it takes up less space. That's why I put my line closer together. Now I'm going to subtract 50 from 165, leaving me a difference of 115. Can I do 50 again? Yes. So 5 times what is 50? 5 times 10. So I'm going to put another 10 to the side here. And 5 times 10, that's going to be a little space again. 5 times 10 is 50, so I put 50 in the box. Then I subtract 115 minus 50. 1 minus 5, oh, can't do it. 0, 11, 5, that's 6, that's 65. 65 left. Is 65 more than 50? So we can do 10 again. So I put 10 to the side. And then 5 times 10 is what? 50. So 50 goes in the box, and now I subtract that 50 from 65 to have a difference of 15. So only 15 of my dividend is remaining. So almost 665 of it is accounted for. Actually, it's 650 is accounted for. I just need 15 more left. Now I can't do 10 anymore because 10 times 5 is 50. 50 is larger than that. So, but 50 is one of my multiples of 5. 1, 2, 3. So what times 5 is 15? 3. So I'm going to put 3 right here. And then 5 times 3 is going to put 15. So I put 15 in the box. So now I subtract 15 from 15, having a difference of 0. So do I have anything remaining of my dividend? No. And so it's all accounted for. So what is my last step? My last step is to add up all these partial quotients here. So we kind of made these partial spots. We took chunks out. Now it'd be easier if I arranged these or lined these up a little bit better. But let's think about it. 10, 20, 30. 30 plus 3 is 33. 33 plus 100 is 133. All right, so do you see how that worked? Our quotient is going to be 133. It's not quite like the arrays we just did, but it's taking all little chunks out and helping us to chunk it up and take part, and so do partial quotients somewhat, and then find it in the arrays. In the area model. So we're going to do the same thing over here with this big number. Let's see if we can do that. Now we're going to try to go a little bit quicker than that. But first thing, remember, we're going to put our divisor on top. Divisor, and we're going to multiply it by what's on the side here. So I would write my multiples, but my multiples are over here, so I don't need to write those again because my divisor is 5. Next I'm going to write my dividend over here to the side. Let me change that. So the first thing I'm going to do is think of thousands. Since 5,675 has 1,000, 5 times 1,000 is what? 5,000. So is 5,000 less than 5,675? Yeah, it is. So I can put 1,000 here. And that is going to be a pretty big chunk of this, right? Yeah, so I'm going to take a pretty good chunk. But I'm going to leave a little bit of room. Now this time I'm going to try to do a little bit better about lining these up, so by the time I get to the end, I can add these. All right, so 5 times 1,000 is what? 5,000. So now I'm going to subtract 5,000 from 5,675, to have a difference of 675. Now I have 675 left, so it's 5 times 1,000 is larger than that. I can't do 1,000 again. 100. 5 times 100 is 500. Is 500 less? Yes. So let's put 100 here. So then we subtract the 500 from 675, having a difference of 175. So now 5 can't do that. Now last time I did 10, 10, 10. But if I'm looking at, let's say, multiples, let's look at these two digits here, 17. Which one of my multiples of 5 is less than 17, but pretty close? So if I look up here, 5, 10, 15. Oh, 15 is less. Okay, so 15 times, what times 5 is 15? That's 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Now 3 times 5 is 15, but what would be, how can we make that larger? Make that, say, 150. I can put a 0 here, right? Because 30 times 5 is going to be 150. So what I'm going to do here, instead of doing 10, 10, 10, like I did over here to equal 150, 5, 50, 100, 150, I'm just going to put 30. Because 10 plus 10 plus 10 equals 30. And 50 plus 50 plus 50 equals 150. So instead of just doing 10, 10, 10 and taking those little chunks out, now I can do 5 times 30 to have a product of 150. So 150 goes in the box. Then I subtract 150 from 175, leaving me only 25 remaining. Okay, so now I've taken out a bigger chunk, 150. So now I only have 25 left. So 5 times what equals 25? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 is a multiple of 5. And we saw that 5 times 25, or 5 times 5 equals 25. So then we subtract that 25 from 25 and you have a difference of 0. So all of our dividend, 5,675, if we added all of these up, and we can see 5, hold on, let me change color. 0 plus 0 plus 5 plus 2 is 7. 0 plus 5 plus 1 is 6. And 5 plus nothing else is 5,000. So we can see that 5,000, all 5,675 of our dividend is accounted for in this area model. And we did the length times the width, and we took out little chunks of our dividend to find it all. Now what's our last step? It's to add our partial quotients here. So you can see we have our dividend, our quotient. We add all of our partial quotients to have a full quotient of 1,135. So 5,675 divided by 5 is going to have a quotient of 1,135. So let's look at these last two problems. These last two problems are 675 divided by 3 and 1,248 divided by 4. Now, since we've already taken up a lot of time, I don't actually want to do these, so this is going to be your rest of your homework, is to solve these two problems using the area model. If you need to go back over it, watch the first part again. Watch how I did those first two problems above, and then you're going to try to solve these on your own, and then we will go over these together. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.